In the National Football League, 4 teams on byes, including the Bucs and Eagles, and a big one on CBS, 4:25 Eastern Time. It's the Kansas City Chiefs going on. J.J. McCarthy in line to start at this point for the first time since week 2. We don't know for sure, but he's.
Carson Wentz isn't starting.
The hope is that it's J.J. McCarthy. If it's not, it's Max Brosmer, the rookie out of Minnesota.
Yeah. Whatever it is, it's the Lions -8. Okay?
No matter who plays quarter. If J.J. McCarthy,
that's it.
I'm with you, though. I'm on the Lions.
They've won 4 straight home games by 15
And they're at home.
Yeah, and they're a different team when they're at home. And that offense just starts lighting people up, and they're hard to stop. You know, when you look at how Jared Goff plays at home, he's much better. He's good on the road, but he's great at home. And it'll be interesting to see what Flores throws at him. But the Vikings defense, the last time out against Justin Herbert was terrible. Well, they're not great on the back end. And so that's a problem. Their corners aren't great. And so I think they got attacked there a little bit. So I think that Goff is going to be able to turn, play action, hit those shots down the field. Look, McCarthy's going to face, the Lions are banged up. McCarthy's going to face a real challenge on that, getting this offense going. He's just getting right back in there. It wasn't like he was throwing for 300 yards a game when he was in there.
No.
So it's going to be a little bit of timing, getting him back into the groove. I think the Lions blow.
And the fastball in Detroit is very fast. Okay, when you're playing a good Detroit team, the speed of the game, the environment, it's very real. There's a handful of places in the National Football League you go to and say, oh yeah, that's a real home field advantage for them. Detroit is definitely one of them.
Pete, what do you need to see out of J.J. McCarthy for him over the last half of this season to show that he's the quarterback of the future for Minnesota?
Well, they clearly think he's the quarterback of the future. They got Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold. So they clearly think he's the quarterback of the future. He's got to be able to stand in the pocket and make the throws. And he's a good athlete, and he can get outside the pocket. He can create with his legs. I want to see him stand in there and go through your progressions. If you get to 1, 2, he's not going to get to 4 or 5, but if you get to 1, 2, 3 before getting out, that's progress. And if he's making throws down the field, if he's running around doing things that, leaving clean pockets, then I think you got a concern. And what we saw when he won the game, that was nice. The fourth quarter was nice, but when you really looked at it, it wasn't great quarterbacking. It was more of him being schemed up and doing some good things. He did make that great shot.
Was that the first Monday Night Football game?
Yeah, he made the great shot to the middle of the field.
Seems like a year ago.
Right, it was a year ago.
Yeah.
It was like 9 weeks ago.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And so I want to see him become a quarterback. If he becomes a quarterback, then they think they have their guy. But why did they take so long to put him back in there, though? They had a quarterback in Carson.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
They had a quarterback in Carson Wentz who was playing on a bum shoulder for 2 weeks. Why didn't you put him back in?
Doesn't add up.
No, it doesn't.
Getting called out in the broadcast.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah. For throwing his helmet.
Come on.
All right.
Could barely lift his arm to throw his helmet.
Mentioned some big spreads this week. Packers -12.
The NFC North, where the Vikings' second-year quarterback J.J. McCarthy is set to return this week when Minnesota plays the Lions. After sitting out 3 straight weeks of practice, McCarthy says he's finally feeling good, feeling like himself, and he's ready to go. Last season, with Sam Darnold under center, the Vikings averaged nearly 350 yards per game and converted 40% of their third downs. This season, with a mix of J.J. McCarthy and Carson Wentz, the numbers are way down. The Vikings ranked 26th in yards per game this season. Look, Darnold's Seahawks are 5-2. Daniel Jones, who was a Viking last year, the second half of the season, is having an MVP caliber season. Mina, what does JJ have to show everyone to make Minnesota's decision to go with them not look like a mistake?
Development. You guys, we've talked about this. I think it's way too early to call it on J.J. McCarthy. He's barely played football. I also think the expectation for him shouldn't be that he's better than Sam Darnold at this point in his career. He was your first-round draft pick. You want him to look like the future. He doesn't necessarily have to be the present. And to do that, you want to see improvement. In his very limited action, and by far the biggest issue was that he held on to the football too long. It seemed like he was still adjusting to NFL speed, both in terms of pass rushers catching up to him, NFL windows closing, taking too many sacks because of that. Can that clock speed up? If you're a Vikings fan and you see him over, not just tonight, this weekend, but the rest of the season, if it feels like he is playing faster as the year goes on, then he can start leaning into some of his strengths, arm strength, athleticism, all of that. Then you feel happy as a Vikings fan. The bet on J.J. McCarthy was not a bet that they're going to win in the playoffs this year. It's a bet that they found the quarterback of the future and that they can continue building around him.
they could have franchised Darnold. They could have brought Daniel Jones. Dan, you think this is a no-brainer? This is not a mistake to go with J.J. McCarthy?
Yeah, I'm with Mina. Way too early to kind of figure that out. I think the two things. Number one, he's got to play for the remainder of the season every snap. So, like, that, if that's one thing that we all have to be looking at.
Health-wise, Dan?
Absolutely. Okay. You know, last year he didn't get the chance to develop because he was hurt. And then this year, he hasn't really gotten the chance to develop because he's been hurt. And so one thing is just get on the field and stay on the field and play every snap. I think the second thing is if I was with J.J. McCarthy, I would just sit there and be like, see it, trust it, and rip it, man. See it, trust it, and rip it. He's such a young talent. Mina's completely correct. Holding on to the football too long. Dude, don't trust. Just go. Just go play. Me as the coach, Kevin O'Connell, I'll get him open. And if I don't get him open, tell me I'm not doing my job good enough. I'll get him open. Cut it loose.
Here's where I stand. Well, you know what, RC, go first.
So, I got. So this is what I know. I know that Jaden Daniels is a star.
Talk about it.
I know that Drake May is a star. I know that Bo Nix is the franchise quarterback of the Denver Broncos for the next decade plus. I think Caleb Williams' star is ascending, right? Caleb Williams is starting to show some signs that he could be the guy. Jury's still out for me with Michael Penix Jr. We need to be in a spot with J.J. McCarthy where I can come in here on Monday and say, I see it, though. Right? It doesn't necessarily have to all be there. Right? We have to remember, at Michigan, Jim Harbaugh didn't ask J.J. McCarthy to go win games with his arm each and every week. Right? He was a part of a system, which a lot of times when we're seeing guys drafted in the top 10 coming into the NFL now, they're not a part of the system. They are the system. Sure. Right? We've asked them to do so much to help these teams win. That wasn't J.J. McCarthy. That was the huge argument about him going so high. So here now, when we talk about Hawkinson and you say Justin Jefferson and you talk Jordan Addison and Mason in the backfield, just show me you can be a piece of this that adds to what we're doing, because we are all sure about Kevin O'Connell. We need to be at least sure that J.J. McCarthy is getting better.
Yeah. I'm going to say something because I know we got to be quick, and I want y'all to think about this and hold on to this for future shows. You too, Mina. Sam Darnold wet the bed when the lights were brightest last year in the last two games. We understand that. But prior to that, he was 14-2. When you have weapons like Justin Jefferson, Adam, and Hawkinson and those boys, what you need is your quarterback, and you should be able to propel, particularly when you have a coach who is as exceptional as Kevin O'Connell, which we all know. Is it possible, and I'm going to end by saying this, because remember, Sam Darnold signs with Seattle 3 years, $100.5 million. $55 million guaranteed, okay, making $33.5 million this year. Last year when he was producing for the Minnesota Vikings, it was on a 1 year, $10 million contract. You go with the rookie. Why? Because is it really about J.J. McCarthy and the fact that he won a national championship in Michigan and you see all of this in him? Or is it the fact that because you have Kevin O'Connell, the quarterback whisperer, you think you could take shortcuts from the quarterback spot so you can allocate those dollars everywhere else? And that's what's costing the Minnesota Vikings. Because to me, if I got weapons everywhere else, I want to make sure in the NFL I got my quarterback. Sure. And you decided to invest and go all in on a rookie. That's what I'm asking.
Mina?
They got weapons, but you know what they don't got? A run game. Functioning pass protection right now, Stephen A. The bet was we can make this team so good around him, it's going to be like driving a Lamborghini. Turns out, not quite a Lamborghini. I mean, the weapons are amazing, but they have to improve the run game, the offensive line. That's a big part of why Sam Darnold struggled at the end. It's going to be a big part of why JJ struggles too.
I'm in no position to disagree with Mina. All I'm trying to say is that when you got the weapons in your passing game that they have, everybody ain't got what Minnesota has, to sit up there and just say, you know what, we can go with the rookie. I'm just saying that's suspect, particularly considering you spent $10 million on your quarterback last year. You got a rookie on you.
Using Darnold and Jones, but also to RC's point, that draft class, they all look like, and he still is a TBD.
That's a good point. 3 out of 5 right now are like,
Action Jackson returns.
The Vikings returned to Detroit with a much different vibe than the last time the Vikings were in Detroit. That was the final game of the 2024 regular season with the 1 seed on the line. The Vikings, I don't know what they are right now. JJ McCarthy is returning after a 7-week absence. The Lions had their bye week, and the Lions are looking very good. They're 5-2. They're favored by 8.5 with an over-under of 48.5. 94% of the spread money is on the Lions.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is a Lions ass whooping coming to a theater near you. All right, that's what I think is coming right here. I mean, the Lions are awesome, like you said. They're home after a bye week. Oh, and it's basically a rookie quarterback who was very shaky before he got hurt. Now he's going to go in and not be shaky, and then we don't have a run game to really rely on there in Minnesota, as we've discussed week in and week out. And this is not the week you're going to jumpstart it. Detroit's not going to let you run the ball. They don't let anybody run the ball, really. So that's where I look at that. The Lions got to be a little healthier as far as having that bye week. But the big problem, and what everything relies on, is the Vikings defense. And the Vikings defense, as we know, is as well coached as there is, but there's just not enough talent there, in my opinion, to match up with some of the best offenses in football. And you know better than anybody, you guys can't really stop the run that well unless you crowd the line of scrimmage and do all that crazy Flores stuff. So within that, though, you got to be careful about doing that crazy stuff. You got all these people at the line of scrimmage. Jared Goff says Seth Huttis, Jamison Williams, and Amon-Ra St. Brown flying down the field, and your safeties are 3 yards from the line of scrimmage. Guess what? You're in deep shit. They're going deep. It's going to be a touchdown. So that's where I think it almost chops a leg of creativity away from Flores to stop the run, and that's where I think they're going to be in trouble. The Lions, as we know, are so explosive on that side of the ball. 35-17. Roar, Lions.
And look, I have no illusions about this one. It's good that JJ McCarthy's back, but this will be his third career regular season game. It's his first game in Michigan since he beat Ohio State in 2023 with the Wolverines. But hey, if the Vikings pull this one off, then it will be one of those, okay, maybe they have something, and then they'll lose 2 in a row after that, like we've already established with some of these other teams. But I just don't see a set of facts where the Vikings can win this one, and I think they know it, and the Lions know it. Their only hope is for the Lions to be complacent, but I don't think that'll be the case. A couple of factors there. They're starting to realize Jahmyr Gibbs is the guy.
Yeah,
some of the comments in the aftermath of their most recent game, it's clear that they get it, that they understand that he's a special talent. And as much as they'd like to split the touches, I think it's in the process of going to starter backup, not Sonic and Knuckles.
Right?
It's more
what you've heard me been saying for 2 years, right? Like you got to give him more touches. He's just too explosive. You're leaving yards on the field with him not getting the ball.
And the other factor is the contract extension for Aiden Hutchinson, because now he can quit worrying about carrying the injury risk.
Right.
The Lions have assumed it to the tune of $141 million in injury guarantees. He can finally, and not that he's playing well while he's carrying that injury risk coming off of the serious lower leg injury from last year. Now he's completely and totally free to things up for the Vikings. 42-13. The Lions, and I'll tell you now, it's probably going to be one of my best bets.
Yeah, I think it's
at 8.5. It's probably going to be a best bet.
It can trend that way for me as well. I hear you. It's definitely been starred on my documents there to go. That could be a possible best better right there.